Hello, and welcome to All About Billings. We are a show dedicated to discovering the people who make Billings a great place to work and live. We will interview local business people, community leaders, entrepreneurs, artists, and entertainers, and learn from their successes, their failures, and their connection to Billings. I'm your host, Nancy Brook, broker and owner at Billings Best Real Estate. And today it is my pleasure to have as my return guest, Akvilina Rieger, and she is with Mayor Bill Cole. And they are here to talk about the upcoming Mayor's World Language Dinner. Well, welcome to the show, you two, and welcome back.
Thank you.
Great to be with you, Nancy.
Yeah, so I'm really excited to hear all about this World Dinner. It sounds like it's quite a unique experience, so tell us about it.
It is unique. I don't know of anything like it in Montana or even elsewhere around the country. On May 2nd at the Billings Hotel and Convention Center will be, as you said, the 4th annual Mayor's World Languages Dinner. So it's just a great event. We're expecting at least 500 people this year. Every year it sells out. Every year it gets bigger. And the idea is just to bring people from all around the world who live in the Billings area already to celebrate the ethnic and linguistic diversity of Billings. We are the most diverse city in Montana, and this is an opportunity to learn more about the rest of the world and just to connect as fellow Billings residents.
Well, very cool idea. And I know you were one of the founding members of this World Language event.
No, that was not. I guess I was just more of a
participant?
group of just all of the foreigners that kind of get together.
Yeah.
And I guess enrich each other's lives because we all have to learn, or just starting in the new community and so forth. But it felt like it complemented us, to work together. To invite the guests to the dinner.
But you've been to all 4 years, right?
Yes, I have
Yes,
been. Yes,
exactly.
Yeah,
So that's what it means by founding member.
Okay.
One of the originals.
One of the originals,
A
yeah.
founding
Absolutely.
eater.
One of the originals.
One of the first people with the accents are not. Yes.
So how did the event first begin? So you mentioned that you were meeting with other people from different parts of the world that live in Billings. So that was something you had ongoing.
No, that was actually two completely separate events.
Okay.
Us foreigners were kind of hanging out together, and then Bill Cole, I'll let you fill in the story behind the
Yeah, the
idea
story
of it.
behind the dinner is that in my job as mayor, I just meet with a lot of people. I run into a lot of people. And I noticed that oftentimes they had a little bit of an accent or something, and I would always ask them where they were from originally, and I was just struck by the number of people from all around the world who found their way to Billings, Montana. And they become just part of our neighborhood, part of our business community, very well integrated into our community, but they have this really interesting part of their life that sadly gets lost oftentimes in a place like Billings, Montana. And so I was chatting one day with the executive director of the Billings Symphony, Ignacio Viela, and I said to Ignacio, I want to have a dinner, and I want to have a different language at each table. We'll have a Spanish table, maybe we'll have a French table, maybe we'll have 4 or 5 tables, we'll go to a restaurant or something like that, and let's just have dinner together and share that part of these stories. Well, the next thing I know, Ignacio had booked the depot.
Yeah, that was
and I'm thinking, this is going to be really embarrassing. We're going to have 3 or 4 tables in the middle of the giant depot. Well, little did I know, there was a real hunger. And word spread, and all of a sudden the Spanish table became 2 Spanish tables, and the French table became 2 French tables, and then we had Balkan tables and Russian tables, and we were able to connect with Paul Foster, head of international studies at MSUB, who is just a wealth of resources. And of course, this is something that is very near and dear to his heart, and he got involved. And Anne, my wife, took on a lot of the responsibilities for organization, and we put together a great committee. And that first year, we packed the depot with about 220 people. And we said, well, we're out of space. We've got to move. And so the next year we moved to the northern, where we packed that facility. And then we moved to the Billings Hotel Convention Center. Last year we had about 440. And this year I think we'll have about 500. And again, it's just been a very organic growth, even though we really don't do any advertising. So it just shows how hungry the community is and how many people we have in our community from all over the world.
So from what I understand from reading about the event, there are people who speak 60 different languages?
Yes, not all by the same person.
Yeah. Right.
But we,
that would be amazing.
each year we try to keep track, and we had well over 50 different countries represented last year, and people who speak well over 50 different languages. And that includes different countries, but also tribes in Montana. We work really hard to make sure that our Native community is invited, and every year we get 3 or 4 tables from different tribal nations around Montana. This year I think we'll have more than that, and it's a great way to connect not just with those international languages, but also our native languages as well.
Right. Well, and you're not originally from here. And
From
so,
Lithuania, yeah.
yes, what does this event mean to you?
Oh, it was such a treat. It was, I can't wait to come back. I guess that's why I got involved in helping out, inviting guests and stuff like that. It's such a colorful event, I guess, from coming in and seeing all the flags that are hanging, flags from all over the world. And a lot of people wear native wear. I guess that costume probably is not the appropriate word. And so it's just such a treat to attend and be exposed to all the different cultures and languages of the world. Yeah.
So what language table do you sit at? Do you sit at a Russian language table?
Well, I speak Russian, so
I
it kind of depends. I guess how we have a few Lithuanians now. We don't quite fill in the table.
Sure.
And actually, a lot of children are attending lately, and so my children want to come back, even though they don't quite speak fluent Lithuanian. They like to come back, and they actually have been really enjoying meeting other children from other families from all over the world. And so with the family, we fill in half of the table. I guess there's 3 or 4 of us Lithuanians. So some of the tables we combined, like a Central Europe or something.
Sure.
For the languages that we don't have quite enough people to fill
a whole table. Yeah, I'm sure Spanish, you might have several tables.
Oh yeah, we have quite a few.
Lithuanian,
Spanish.
maybe a half table.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes
That's
sense.
counting the children that speak a few Lithuanian words.
Right. So you mentioned that it was just really a fun experience. What do you like most about it?
I'm just a curious person. I guess I'm always have been very interested in traveling, and so it's almost like a little travel around the world for an evening kind of experience, because not only you meet people, that you see all the people exchanging phone numbers and contact information because they are forming friendships and everything, and to me that's such a treat to see them, that they are adjusting to the community, they're getting involved, enriching their lives and enriching community back by what they contribute from their experiences, their backgrounds and stuff like that. And so, yeah, I think the list goes on and on of the big things, important things that it brings to the community.
Right. Well, and I'm sure it's really fun for everybody from other parts of the world to just see how many people are here from other locations.
And that's the common denominator. For the first time somebody comes to this event, they walk in the door, they see all the flags, they see all the people, and their jaw drops.
Yeah.
And they say, I didn't know.
Yeah.
And these are people who maybe have lived here for 20 or 30 years, maybe from all around the world, and they didn't appreciate the ethnic and linguistic diversity of Billings. Mm-hmm. And that's why we do this. It's great for the community, it's great for them. Also, many of our immigrant community are the most highly educated and successful people in our community. These are top physicians from all around the world, business people. who've made their life here in Billings. And it's really important to the economic future of Billings in a more and more global world that we have a community that is welcoming and that is perceived as being open to future immigrants, because our economy is very dependent upon that, especially going forward.
So you mentioned physicians, business people. Obviously physicians, they have work opportunities. What brings people to Billings? Because it seems like a really random city for people to want to live in.
Yeah, and Akvilina can speak to that better than I, because of her connections and her personal experience. But oftentimes there is an element of happenstance, I suppose.
So.
And maybe it's a job. Oftentimes they don't know that much about Billings, but there was an opportunity here. We do have a handful of refugee families who are just happy to have any place to land, that are highly documented, authorized by the United States State Department. But I'd say that's a great question for Akvilina. Let's see what she says.
Well, how did I end up here? The Montana boy. No, just,
Yeah.
no.
That's
It
another
started with a boy.
That's often the case, yes.
So I guess I originally came to Bozeman. My scholarship was to Bozeman, MSU Bozeman. And then that's where my Montana husband comes in from. But we got transferred to Billings for his job. And so that's how we ended up in Billings. And now I'm trying to think through our United Nations of Billings group. And I would say everything from students, or sometimes it's coming to live in a similar community that they were accustomed to, or like similar climate or something like that. I mean,
Maybe they don't want a
so,
big
like,
city.
yeah, don't want a
if
big
they're-
city,
yeah.
and it's interesting. It's such a. I find Billings to be incredible city. I love living here, and I think community, just the fact that there are so many foreigners who are integrated so well, that just tells you how welcoming of the community it is, because they don't have to stay in their clusters. They're just, part of the community, and you don't even notice, the difference much, which tells a lot about how welcoming people are here. I think I mentioned it maybe last time. It's like you don't see Little Italy or Chinatown in Billings. It's like everybody's included, and that's kind of a rare place to be, it's my understanding. And I almost remember having a little bit of a fear when I was staying, like, am I always going to have this label, have an accent? And I have never felt that way. So I think, going far and beyond on your question, but so I think it could be just a variety of different ways that people ended up here, or, loved it and stayed, or.
Sure.
And I think you can't underestimate the importance of Montana State University Billings and Rocky as an attractant for staff, also for students who then, if they can get a job and work out the visa or become a citizen, like to stay in Billings. Also, some of our major industries have real international ties. Like Sibanye, the owner-operator of Stillwater Mine, owned by a South African company, and so we will have an Afrikaans table this year again, and many of the people from Sibanye will be at that table. Or Rocky Vista University, Montana College of Osteopathic Medicine, and now the new vet school. They have faculty members from all over that at one point are from all over the world. And so that has also been a very good fit for this dinner. And it's a recruitment tool for organizations that want to be able to attract people to Billings. And let's not kid ourselves, it's not always easy to get people to come to Billings, Montana if they don't have existing ties here, or they're not avid hunters or fishermen, I suppose.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm curious, is there any idea how many people from other parts of the world who live in Billings?
That's a really good
Yeah.
question without a good answer. Yeah, it's not
I mean,
something
is it
that
1%? Is it, you know?
it's not something that pops up
Right.
in the census data. We really don't have a good way to track it that I know of. So I hesitate to even guess.
Yeah, right.
Again, our event has about 500, but that includes a lot of English-speaking spouses, some sponsors, a mayor and his wife who are from Montana. But I think we're just scratching the surface. I really do. The fact that this has grown so organically makes me think that we could keep growing. At some point, we may have to establish some limits, but we've always, the limiting factor has been the size of our venue, typically.
Yeah.
So people sign up and basically they can inquire about the event at this point. And there's an email address, from what I understand, that people can email.
Yes, and we really encourage people to reach out if they're interested. If they haven't attended, they don't already have a relationship with the event, they should send an email to worldlanguagesdinner.billings@gmail.com.
Right.
And I think the address is on the screen.
screen,
And we also have a website and a Facebook page. They can also inquire there. It's a rather informal word-of-mouth system. We ask, we find somebody to host a table and ask them to go out and fill that table. So we're not always sure exactly, it's not a system where you just have a ticket and then just show up. You do need to have that invitation connect with a table host, but if you send an email, we can try to connect you with a table host if there's still vacancy at a table. So that's how people can connect.
Well, it sounds like it's grown every year.
Yep.
So what brings people back?
You know, I think they just have fun.
Yes.
Most importantly, we don't ask for money.
Yeah.
And the price is very reasonable. We keep that down to about $20 a head, which is much less than half the cost of the event. But we have some great sponsors. Check out our Facebook page for the names of those sponsors. And I think people just have fun. Not everybody comes back, but we pick up new people all the time. I don't know, Akvilina, why do you think people keep coming?
I mean, there's such an energy when you get in there. You know, it's like all this buzz. Actually, it was almost unfortunate. We had great performers last year, and I think there was so much energy and excitement in the air. I had to like tone them down so I could hear, you know. But no, I just feel, it's such a great energy, and it's fun, and you make new friends, and
Fun.
fun.
That's a really important word. As I said, it's not a fundraiser, and there's no political agenda. It's just a time to come have dinner, connect with a lot of people you probably didn't know, maybe reconnect with some people that you did know, and to share, for those who are come from someplace else in the world or tribal nations, connect with others who have that common experience. And you know, one of the great things, Akvilina mentioned that she feels very integrated and comfortable in Billings, which is great. That's what we want. But the sad part about that is that sometimes people probably don't really care. They don't even know where Lithuania is, perhaps, and that's too bad, right? And that's a huge part of our immigrant population, is where they are from, who they are at their root. And we want to communicate that that's also an important part of who they are, and we appreciate that. And this is an event to allow them to celebrate that part of their own personal experience.
Well, I'm sure anybody who's traveled anywhere in the world can understand, like there's almost like that little bit of your heart flutters when you get in the plane to America, because you're with other Americans, not with wherever you were,
Exactly.
Thais or
Yes.
Czechoslovakians or that kind of thing. So I'm sure it's a lot like that, like, oh, I have a connection with these people.
Yes, hearing your own language, especially when you don't get to use it that much here, because there's not that many Lithuanians.
Right.
It feels pretty pleasant here, yeah.
Have you had people from other parts of the country reach out and ask about starting a similar event?
I've had some communications with other mayors,
Yeah.
who are very intrigued by the idea. No one has done it yet, so at this point we're still unique, I guess. But I think it's something that's natural. It's certainly not unique, the immigrant experience in Billings. So I think it is something that will get picked up, I would predict, and it might be that other communities do something similar of their own making. I just don't know the details there.
Well, it sounds like it's quite a fun time. Obviously, this is your fourth year attending, and your fourth year of organizing it. So what do you see in the future? Do you think you're going to get to 1,000 or more?
I don't know. We'd have to go to your
We
house.
have to
I think, it's a lot of work.
It is a lot, yeah.
But fortunately, we've got a great committee, and there is no way this would happen without that committee. They do all the work. I just sort of show up, and we're so fortunate to have that. So you ask the committee. We do have room to grow. The new convention hall at the Billings Hotel and Convention Center, it's just opened in January of this year, is a game changer for us, because now we could grow. I'm not sure exactly what the capacity is, but we could still add easily another 100 or so guests. And so I would anticipate that that is the next stage, that we continue if there's demand. And it might be that people, once the novelty is worn off, the numbers will go down, and that's fine. We don't want to force something. We want this to be very natural. But we'll see. Time will tell, but it seems to be popular and fulfilling a need.
Yeah.
Well, and Mayor Cole, you are finishing your last year, right, as mayor?
Yes.
So this is something that will be in your fond memories, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, I hope it won't be a memory. I hope it'll be something that Ann and I will continue with. I'm sure we will. I think we'll probably have to rebrand the event. We would probably call it just the Billings World Languages Dinner. And I don't see any reason why it won't continue in the future. We might take a year break just to help the committee off at some point, but it has been a success, so stay tuned.
Right. Well, and it seems like both of you just have a real appreciation for Billings and how welcoming people are in general to people from other parts of the world. What would you say is the most significant thing that you've noticed about people in Billings? You.
Oh, there's so many. The inclusivity, I would say.
Okay.
I feel like maybe in some ways the lifestyle is lower here than, bigger cities and stuff, and people stop and want to hear your story, want to hear, the origins, maybe even relate that some relatives of theirs came from somewhere, close by. I don't know, just feels nice, feels inclusive, I guess. So, yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
what would you say?
I think Billings has two advantages. One is we're small enough to still know each other and to judge people, and we all do make judgments about other people, let's be honest, based on who they are as individuals, and not just because of connection to some group. And that's a really important trait, and that's not unique to Billings, but that's important. That's very important. The second thing, though, is we're big enough that we have a certain scale where there is a community of Spanish speakers, of Russian speakers, of Farsi speakers, of Chinese speakers, on down the list. And that's really important if you're coming from someplace else. If you've ever lived in a different country, you know how lonely it can be, especially in those early years. I just spent a few months in Spain as a college student, and it was very difficult. And so you need a scale. You need fellow travelers. And we have that's growing, and the community, even if they're not from your exact country, that is a plus that other communities can't have. The other thing that we have is proximity to our tribal nations, which is very important. This is our tribal nations are absolutely central to this event. In our committee, it's really important to them, and they have taken us under their wing, I would say, and we wouldn't have that if we weren't here in Billings with so many Apsáalooke Crow Nation members, also the Northern Cheyenne, but there's, I believe, 9 other reservations, 11 other recognized tribes in Montana. So that's a great resource for this event and also for our community.
And so they're coming and speaking their native language.
Absolutely.
Which is wonderful, because a lot of times you hear about the Native Americans losing a little bit of their culture and their heritage.
That's a huge problem in the Native community is kids may understand. I was just talking with a elder the other day who was saying his grandkids understand the language, but they won't speak it. They're not comfortable enough. And so think what would be lost if any of those tribal languages were lost. So yeah, maybe in our small way we can help prevent that from happening.
Well, and you think about it too, it's just like the traditions too are communicated in language, and sometimes that gets lost. I'm sure it's like you probably have different words in Lithuania or Russia that you can't quite convey, and you lose something as a result.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the date. The date is coming up soon.
Friday, May 2nd,
Okay.
2025.
Okay, great.
Billings Hotel and Convention Center in the evening. I think we usually try to open the doors at 5:30, something like that.
Great. And then let's put up that email address one more time. worldlanguagesdinner.billings@gmail.com. So the process is, if you're interested in attending, to reach out, send an email, and then you will contact them. Somebody from the organization will contact them, see if there's an available table, and then go from there.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. People can, again, get more information also on the Facebook page, or just by Googling Billings World Languages Dinner. There's also a video or two on YouTube that you can go for getting a little more information about past years and see the energy and see the fun. And also there's a website out there.
Well, you make my heart glad to hear about how diverse we are in Billings and how cool this event is.
Yes.
It's very neat. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today, and we hope to see you next time on All About Billings.